Hi, welcome to Tailgate Talks, brought to you by Farmers Co-op Society. I'm Tyson Martinmaas, an agronomist at FCS, and this is Carl Lakefold. Carl, you want to tell everybody what your position is?
You bet. Yep, Carl Lakefold. I've been with Land O'Lakes now for about 7 years. Well, this last year, they've kind of got me branched off a little bit, so I'm able to work with the Croplan genetics some too.
Okay, what are some things that differentiate Croplan on the seed side? Like your response to fungicide, your response to scores, correct?
Right. That's gotten to be the staple of the Croplan hybrids, and so they do a lot of research on for instance, response to population. It varies based on soil type. The next thing is your response to fungicides, and the other thing is response to nitrogen, and so that is broken down within the Croplan genetics package.
I know when I start selecting a Croplan variety, that's the first thing I go to is the response to scores, and kind of talk it through with my growers and kind of make sure we're putting the right seed on the right field for them. So as well as the response to scores, all your guys' seed, your corn seeds come treated with zinc.
The zinc we talk about now more so in the high yield aspirations of some of these producers. They're looking at how do we raise this yield, or why have we hit like 220 bushel corn and it seems to have been the top end. We came to a bump in our head on that ceiling. So one of the things we look at is the zinc to phosphorus ratio. It gives that plant a good early start to get it off to a strong start and balance that zinc ratio. Zinc is also a food source for some of the microbes and the biology that's in the soil that is going to help to mineralize and make your other nutrients available too. So the zinc is showing consistent results by being on the seed.
I would agree. It's always important that you get that little bit of nutrients just to get that seedling started.
Yep.
On the soybean side of things, I know something that's very unique to WinField is your guys' WindPacks. Can you kind of tell a little bit about your WindPacks?
Well, the WindPack is, to just make it simple, is basically a blend, a 50-50 blend of two different soybean varieties. And the reason we do that is every variety of soybeans, just like every hybrid of corn, does not react the same to different environmental situations. And so in order to spread that risk a little bit, basically what we do is put two soybean varieties of similar maturity in a bag, and maybe one is a little stronger on Phytophthora, maybe one is a little bit stronger on potentially cyst nematode, whatever. And so we have varying amounts of different disease pressure or soil type changes and all that type of stuff. Even within a field, it can compensate for that a little bit going through the field on its own. It's going to give us a better chance at maximum yield at the end of the season.
Yeah, it always is a good way to fix the dilemma. Do I go with an offensive bean or do I go with a defensive bean? Yeah. So you're getting the best of both worlds with the WindPack.
Right.
So Carl, if you had to pick one soybean variety and one corn variety of the Croplan lineup, which one would you go with?
I don't know, in this area there's a lot of guys that like to hover around that 100-day corn, anywhere from 98 to 102, 103. Probably a couple corn varieties are really coming out on top. The one is 3899, which is a VT2. Some guys have gone back to the VT2 a little bit just to economize somewhat, but the 3899, what we're seeing this year is even in the drought stress that we've seen this year. I mean, in prior years it's performed really well with adequate moisture, but this year we're seeing that 3899 that's filled clear to the tip. There's no gaps, no blanks. The pollination was complete, and it looks like it even has a decent amount of rows around. So it looks like that little bugger at 101 day maturity is going to pump out some corn this year, even through the stress. One that's been a staple for us, and this one probably is not quite as adaptable as the 3899, would be 4188. That one also looks really good this year. It looks like it came through the stress pretty well, but that probably has more top end potential as far as for great, the highest fertility soil and the best, obviously the best weather conditions. I mean, when everything is aligned just right, the top end on that's probably going to be a little higher.
That's one you'd call more of a racehorse variety, correct?
Yep.
And on the soybean side of things, what would you kind of lead with there?
It's probably tough to start picking varieties on the soybean side, because right now as we transition into a little more complexity on our soybean side, I'm sure people are going to get a lot more focused on whether they want the enlist trait or they want the the extend flex opportunity or whatever, and we're going to have to build programs around those a little more so.
Start with the herbicide package that they want and build from there.
Yep.
What is something coming down the pipeline that our viewers should know about?
That's a fun question. This is the fun topic to talk about. One of the new things is there's a new Smart Stacks event coming that will actually bring a brand new protein and a new mode of action in as far as corn rootworm activity. So there'll be one added corn rootworm trait stacked into the hybrids. So that will be coming probably, we're looking at maybe 2024 before we get even close to full production on that. But so we're a couple years away, a couple more crop years away. So there's a natural genetic corn event that's being inserted, and they're probably 2 full crop years away from launching this as well, but it's going to be basically a short corn gene, and so the corn probably will never exceed 7 feet in height, about what it would maybe be at V12, V13, and with that we'll be able to use our ground equipment. Well, I'll tell you what, to have that opportunity to get in there and treat when you need to treat with the ground rig and spray it another time, that's going to be huge as far as the pursuit of higher yields.
Always make it a little nicer, not having to worry about that corn going to get too tall, so I can't get the Haggy out there to do a Y drop or a fungicide application.
Right.
Well, Carl, thanks for joining us today, and thank you guys for joining us today. If you got any questions on Croplan seed, reach out to your local FCS agronomist. If you don't know who that is, click the link in the description. Also, if you want to find out any more information about Croplan seed, we'll throw their link in the description as well. Thank you all. Have a good one.